Hello and welcome to the Luna Holistic Podcast and the Lightworker Global Call to Action series. I'm Geneva Robbins. I'll be your host and guide through this next hour of illumination and discussion. And I am just so very happy you are here. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I also want to send out a very heartfelt thank you to the Indigenous peoples of the world, including the Treaty 7 peoples where I live in Calgary, Canada. Thank you and welcome. Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you are here. It is a beautiful, beautiful July here in Calgary. And it's these times of these sort of slow growing summer months that really make us appreciate the sweetness of the seasons and the season changes. I always feel like there's a bit of inner connection that happens during each of the seasons, and each season in as we go through the year, knowing that I'm in Canada and we have very strong seasons in our land. Each season really brings about these opportunities for us to use the energy of nature to enhance our own natural evolution and growth, that we can work in harmony with the cycles of nature and really listen to that ebb and flow of activity and rest that each season calls us to do in its own way. And so I'll be talking a little bit about how we can work and flow in harmony with the earth and those earth energies, and what each season of the land is calling us to do. And it might be a little bit different in your area of the world. You might have two seasons, so rainy and dry, and those seasons might call to you in different ways. And you can really look to really the ancestors and descendants of the land of where you are living. There are many rich stories of the people who were on the earth before our settler feet got here, and that's a really rich tapestry of information of how to work with wherever you happen to be, whether your ancestors are rooted in the land that you're in, or if you have been a globe traveling family and you are in a different place um, than your deep ancestors lived. There's a history and culture, but there's an energy and frequency of each place within the earth. Each place that we are walking carries a unique signature of nature, of the plants, the animals, the water features, whether it's the river or ocean or a lake. Each of those elements have carry an energetic signature, and those are here. They're really offered to us to work and live in harmony with the elements within in our surroundings. And even if you're living in a very busy city, there's still that elements of nature everywhere you look. Sometimes our culture separates nature from us, that we're somehow different or separated or cut off from nature by our very essence, which I feel is um, it's a colonial past. It's that thought pattern that we are somehow separate from the environment that we live in, is a fiction. We can't be separate from it. We are part of it and we're interacting with it. And it's interacting with us, which you really get when we have big storms or flooding events, which or just sort of big actions of the natural world, where we recognize just how tiny we are as human beings. In our area, we've had a number of fairly substantial, quite damaging hailstorms come through, and all you can do is just sort of hunker down and stay steady when nature is sort of unfurling these big storms or big storm events. And each time something like that occurs, we can use that as guidance energy to go inward. Um, Even the difference between a cloudy day and a sunny day impacts us as people, and I feel gives us different opportunities to cultivate our our spiritual selves, and to really honor and recognize the gifts and bounty that comes from nature, that we are here. Everything that exists has come from the natural world. It's the raw elements and matter, even if it's been reconfigured into a computer and a cell phone and all of those things, those raw elements come from nature. And yeah, and so that's kind of what we'll be getting into as we go through. I'd love to hear your comments, feedback, insight, wisdom as we go through this information. I am always fascinated about how these ideas and concepts and the meditations we do together sort of hit you. Um, so feel free to type into the comment section in the chat, and um, and I'll definitely will read every single one of those. So thank you very much for your feedback and coming together as a community of heart-centered, sensitive people. Um, very briefly, these podcast series I call the Lightworker Global Call to Action. And I want to define Lightworker because it's really a catch-all term for people who are really compassionate with a great big heart and likely a great big purpose to help and uplift the people, plants, animals, nature all around you. You care a whole lot about a whole lot of things. You are probably sensitive. You probably feel deeply. You might describe yourself as an empath or an intuitive person. And really, I feel like I have a deep role. I'm one of those people too. So, hi, welcome. You're in good company. And and I really feel like I've got a big role to help people who feel really deeply about and really passionately about a lot of different things, and how to manage those feelings and that energy that you are working with through the power of Reiki and meditation and grounding and a lot of the tools that we teach here at Luna Holistic. Um, I find, for me anyway, learning Reiki was this anchor point for me to manage how much I felt in terms of energy and emotions, and how passionate I was about doing things, my whole life, doing things that will help uplift and heal the world and the environment and its people. And along that path, I found Reiki, and it gave me this ability to anchor in to a very stable core, and to surround myself really with a beautiful bubble of light. And in that bubble of light, of energy in the aura, I find that I am able to stay in that sort of sharp, highly connected, intuitive space, while at the same time staying anchored and grounded and rooted into the world, and sort of aware of what's going on in the world around me. So not in a spiritually disconnected state, but in a spiritually connected state to the matter that makes up all of the things and the frequency beyond the matter, which is that subquantum connected universal reality. So it's all really, really beautiful and brilliant. So I'm thankful that you're here, and I would like to really get into a bit of a grounding rainbow aura meditation. I'll just guide you through that. It's always a nice way to just sort of connect in and let everything sort of seep in and saturate. So grounding is really a visualization or energetic technique, and you can do it as part of a meditation, which we'll do here now. And the aura is your bubble of light, or it's sort of your energy container that wraps around your body and makes you feel safe. It acts as a filter or a barrier between you and the world energetically, and helps you feel, it really contains all of your chakras or your energy centers within the body and your energy flow. So you've got a strong energy flow going through you from the crown of your head, going through all of the chakras, which sort of line up on the central line, the major chakras, which are wheels of light and this intersection of your spirit and the body. And it carries down through the base of the spine, down the legs, and out the bottoms of the feet, and really connecting you into the planet. And when you're in that solid connected space, you feel calmer, more yourself, really more centered and more anchored into your own deep knowing within your spirit. So let's do a little meditation. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart, and this will help you balance both the left and right sides of the body. This is called Gasho in Reiki. It's hands together meditation. So you can just gently close your eyes, taking a few deeper, nurturing breaths. Just letting the busyness of the day wash through you, down and out through the bottoms of your feet. Letting the morning of the day fade. Letting the evening of the day be as yet unformed. Just staying balanced in this middle space between morning and night, between the past and the future. There's a space in between the present. Notice this present moment with a gentle breath in, and honor this present moment with a gentle breath out. Noticing the vast energy of Mother Earth below your feet. Noticing the character and quality, the energy that hums within the planet. Alive and vital, ancient and strong, safe, nurturing, secure. Allow this energy to greet the bottoms of your feet, the base of your spine, and gently flow upward through your body, filling your hips, your lower belly, the base of your spine, the lower back, softening up through the solar plexus, the upper abdomen, just under the rib cage, flowing through the middle back, lifting your spirit, thoughts. Filling and flowing upward into the heart, expanding the chest with courage, dignity, and wholeheartedness. Feeling brave and courageous each and every step. Take a big breath of you in. And let out anything that isn't you. More and more feeling more yourself. Like there's space to be, space to breathe, safe to be perfectly you, safe to be imperfectly you, exactly as you are. You are loved, safe, nurtured, and protected. Allow this loving, compassionate energy to flow and fill your throat and neck, softening in through the jaw, the back of the head, the skull, down through the face, eyes, going deeply inward now to the deep space inside you, letting your gaze drawn inside to the light that lives within you, allowing that light to grow so bright, so clear, so radiant that your whole being, your whole body is filled with light. And it radiates and shines out from you like you are a lantern, a spark of light in the night sky, a star, the sun, radiant and shining. And in a beautiful, clear space all around your body, the edges of that radiant light, visualize a rainbow with red closest to you, safe and secure, orange beyond that, vibrant and vital, yellow beyond that, brave, confident, green beyond that, loving, compassion, blue beyond that, truth and clarity, beyond that, indigo, insight and wisdom, beyond that, violet, beautiful, protective, clear, unified, whole, one. You are. I am. We are. Rest for a moment in this connected, whole, centered space. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands down your legs, just moving that energy down your legs, really connecting into the energy below your feet and connecting into your physical body. And then with your hands facing your body, just a foot or so away from your body, you can smooth off that energy field around you, just creating that nice clear bubble, clearly defined bubble of light where you begin and the world stops, and then giving that aura, your auric energy, a little pat to seal in that healing in divine love, light, and wisdom. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Ah, wonderful. Thank you so much. That just feels so great, so nurturing, so loving. I really love that visual, the grounding and the aura, and just sort of really resting in that expanded state. Yeah, I always feel like I could just rest in that bubble forever. Once you get into it, you just want to stay there. And what's nice is that it's just really a visualization away. And it brings in such calm, peaceful, nurturing energy anytime. And yeah, it always sort of gives me that, it clicks things into place for me. That it just sort of puts me into this sort of divine perspective, but also anchored really deeply within the body. And when both of those things happen, when you're fully inhabiting your body, and when you are in that expanded, soulful, wise awareness, you you can leverage both the wisdom within your physical life experience and the information and knowledge you've acquired through the living of your life and your interaction with others and the planet. And then you can also bring in this greater, wiser perspective that helps you see beyond the circumstances that you're in your life in this particular moment or time or frequency, and seeing beyond it to a greater sort of solution oriented perspective, where you can see possibilities where maybe you didn't see possibilities before, but they all sort of open up in front of you in this really beautiful, divine, connected way. So thank you. Thank you for that. That was just so beautiful and lovely. As promised, I want to talk a little bit about this energy we're in right now with the summertime, and really the flow of energy that happens during these sort of calm, cool, growing days of summer. Everything's been planted, and there's this restful pause in the middle of summer quite often, where our job is to let things grow. Often we associate summer times with activity and being out and about and doing more things and going and seeing people. And definitely that is a big part of it, that sort of yang, active, masculine energy, like doing, going, achieving part. But there's another phase of summer which I feel is almost stronger in summer sometimes than even in the depths of winter, which would normally draw us very deeply inward. There's this sort of calm sort of witnessing or relaxing that happens in summer, where it feels like, if you can go and have a few extra moments of holiday, it feels like your job is to witness the growth, to just sit and witness the beauty of nature, to see the trees in their greenery, to see the blossoms in bloom, this sort of open, just like a flower, everything sort of opens up at this middle phase of summer, And there, in that opening, there's a receptivity of sort of letting the pollinators come to you rather than going out and chasing everything like a squirrel running around. There's a phase where you can sit very stilly in your center, in your seat, and watch things unfold. And in fact, there's a place and time in the summertime where there's no pushing things to go faster. Even if you tried, I don't know if you've had that experience where you try time after time after time, or you try to kind of make something happen and it just doesn't work. It just sort of falls apart. And not that it's falling apart, but you just kind of get led somewhere else, and this sort of wandering eddy circular path, like a leaf going down the river, and it gets caught in these sort of side sort of spirals, and you're just sort of spiraling in the side of the river, and you're waiting for life to catch you and pull you back into its current. But there's sort of no getting out of it. Trying to paddle to get out of that sort of resting time won't get you anywhere other than further into the center of the eddy and spinning around faster and faster and faster. So, and I've had a number of experiences like that just this past week, which have been almost comical, like ordering things and having them arrive in bits and pieces, and bits and pieces of the order completely backwards and wrong. Trying to, going on a little, oh, let's go mini golfing with my family, and going from place to place, and it just didn't ever connect up. And but in that sort of wandering random path, we still had a really lovely afternoon. It just was not at all what we had planned. But sometimes the what is actually happening is the plan. And so there's a bit of this need to surrender to sort of this greater flow and harmony within the world. And it's a really beautiful beautiful experience. And if you can let go and let that happen. Sometimes we get, sort of overheated with things because, in particular, because we're in other months and other times and other seasons and cycles, we're able to sort of plan fairly methodically and have those plans work out. And it happens reliably enough that we feel like we have some semblance of control over the outcome of things. One of the gifts I feel with the disruption due to COVID and all of that it's created this, whether we go willingly or not, it's created this habit of having to surrender. And now that things have sort of getting back into some sort of semblance of this new now, we can get into a little bit of a lockdown inside, which is where we clamp up around experiences because we feel like now that there's rhythm to our day, that we can go back to controlling everything. And that is not what this phase of time in human history has been about. This has been about teaching us the power of yin, of letting things happen and going with the flow. And I can speak to this very clearly because I like to control things. I like to know what's going to happen. It's I think it's a very common thing of being able to plan and have things work out according to plan. And when they don't, it sort of sometimes can throw you for a loop, or it can make you feel unsettled. And really, it's I find what helps me is coming back to grounding, to the breath, to the present moment, and sort of accepting is like, okay, right here, right now, right where my feet are, this is where I am. And from where I am here, is the moment asking me to be still. Sometimes we are asking for the next step and the next step and the next step. And maybe sometimes the step is to not take a step, but to be still, to be settled, to be calm, to wait for things to unfold moment by moment by moment, to let your life get calm, to let it get serene, to watch the flowers grow and watch the birds fly, and really, watching the stream of life go by you, and to really allow that flow be something that is something that you get into that still place of being able to witness it, witness your own flow, witness your own rise and fall of your own emotional states, of what's growing within you, and cultivating the things that you, and nourishing the things that you wish to grow bigger within your life. And that's it. It's not really even about weeding, or trying to clear things at all. It's just about nurturing what you want to flourish, and devoting your time, energy, and attention to the things that you want more of. And in some ways, just dropping your focus or attention on, for temporarily, on the things that you want less of in your life. When we get really hyper focused on what's broken and how to fix it in our lives, we often get stuck in this state, or there's this inner belief that we are somehow broken, bad, or wrong, and that there's a tarnished, sinner spirit or something inside of us that needs to be fixed to be closer to the divine, or better. Improving ourselves sometimes comes with this connotation that we are not good as we are. And I feel like the summertime asks us, this sort of energy, this cultivating energy, asks us to look inside and see what's good and nurture that, nourish that, fertilize that, give the parts of you that are going well, your skill sets, your strengths, your talents, to give yourself time to cultivate those things that bring you joy, bring you happiness, bring you that contentment and connection. It's a really beautiful, magical time, and this is something that you can do any time of year, because I feel like every day has its own summer, every week has its own summer. There are these times and moments throughout every time scale. There are summery years. Sometimes you have years or even decades, which are about being the witness to life and allowing life to flow through you, around you, over you, and just sort of having the still space to cultivate what is good and growing and nourishing and joyful. So the fruits and sweetness, is like, what's the peach within you? What's the beautiful fruit that you want to nourish in your life, and giving yourself that space to hone your craft, to explore learning and growth, not because you're broken, bad, or wrong, but because it's joyful to learn. It's joyful to expand. It's joyful to create spaces and moments in your life that nourish you, that expand and uplift you. And in those sort of really sweet moments of surrender and stillness and cultivation in our lives, what we do, it's a very important phase. And it looks a lot on the surface, like you're not doing anything. But what you're doing is sometimes the most important work, which is this work of gestation, of just letting things ripen, and not picking things too soon, just like you don't want to pick a fruit before it's ripe. Just giving yourself that space to percolate on everything that you've experienced, to process the immensity of all of the changes that have happened collectively in our world over the past 4 or 5 months within your own personal life, to just sort of give yourself that break, that space, that little breather to allow everything to happen in its own pace and its own time. I've been really anchoring in this on a personal level as well, because as like for many of you, the springtime this year in 2020 was altogether different than anybody had planned, and it was a complete sort of revamping of how we were doing all of the things, and there was so much to process within that, including a sort of global shift in our culture and weeding out sort of the roots of systemic racism and intolerance that have been sort of pervasive through our culture forever, and is sort of an expansion on what was sort of sparked over the past couple of years with the sort of Me Too movement, and understanding the power within women and the power within Black, Brown, Indigenous cultures and communities, and really actively working to release that suppression on people's growth, power, and individuality, and really crafting and creating this new world where we respect and honor each other in our unique differences, and also respect and honor how very similar we all are at our roots. We all have a beating heart. We all live within this one planet. We have one, we can launch missions to Mars, but this is the Earth where we all live. We are all, if you go back far enough, we are all each other's brothers and sisters. And to see each other as one collective human family, and of where each person, each culture, each language has its own beauty and richness and story, and to allow the stories that have been suppressed to rise to the surface and shine, has been amazing and beautiful to witness and watch. And we're only just getting started. This is a very long road of growth, discovery, and cultivation in a deeper way, of letting what is good in people, and I believe there is a lot of good in people, to rise to the surface and create this sort of actively anti-racist, compassionate, equitable world, and where everybody's got that respect, dignity, and return and balancing of strength and power to people and groups where the strength and power has been separated from them. And that is amazing to, we're part of history, we're in history, we're watching it unfold. There's learning and growth and stuff all around us happening all of the time. And that's a process that's going to continue for generations from now. And it's going to continue for as long as it's needed, as long as we are blessed to have generations on this beautiful, beautiful world with you, beautiful, beautiful people. And it's important in the summertime months to really sort of process everything that has happened, and giving yourself time just almost just to go into it. There's been so much thinking, there's been so much activity, there's been so much adaptation. It's very normal to feel more than a little bit worn out by it all, to feel overwhelmed, anxious, stressed, scared even about what's going to happen next. And so when we're provided these opportunities, these little restful spaces of good weather and good company, and just even just a few moments, to sit on your balcony or sit in your backyard or go to a beautiful public space, socially distanced, and just really take in the loving energy that is always present in the earth, and it's always steady and anchored in the moment. There's a beautiful line from the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu thousands of years ago, where it says, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." And that's really it's a motto for me. I've been finding that when plans get disrupted, when things go in a different way than you expect, you're given a new opportunity to see and view things in a different way, and to give yourself the space to settle into this calmer space to really review, reflect, and integrate these things, and to take them as learnings, and and to integrate them not on a mental level, but sort of on a deep being level. Early on in the podcast series, we were talking about this idea of how are you going to be through all of this? Not what you're going to do, but how are you going to be? How do you choose to be? And the summer months are really about dropping into that beingness. It's not about thinking. There is definitely planning and activities, but it's like once you get there, and while you're planning it even, can you drop into that state of beingness? Can you bring that presence and witness and the allowing that generosity of spirit to allow things to ripen, allow them to develop, allow people time to get back to you, allow people the time and space to think about things, to plan things, to come up with deeper, longer term things. And that really requires this sort of reflection time. And it's important. So really, really anchor yourself in that. It's a time for just letting everything wash through you like water, to cleanse and clear and stay connected to that flow of river energy deep within the self. It's really about sort of letting yourself merge with the natural world, dropping for a moment the barrier between you and what is nurturing, and let that goodness come into your life. Let it nurture you, let it support you, let Mother Earth heal you. Let that calm and stillness, if you're listening to this while you're on holiday, if you're swinging in a hammock, if you're sitting outside at the base of a tree, if you're going on a beautiful nature walk, really give yourself that time and space to notice the buzz of life, the harmony within the land that you're in, and really soften into this greater web of life, seeing yourself as part of it rather than separate from it. When we dissolve into nature and allow nature to dissolve into us, we create this beautiful harmony and partnership. And it's really run on gratitude. to feel that gratitude and joy in just even the simplest moments, just the simplest moments of being able to witness beauty in the natural world and really take that beauty and to drink it in and store it within us, because we need that when we go through the harsher times of the seasons, when we are encountering and weathering sort of the storms and the upheaval that come in the spring, the fall, the winter months. Even in the summertime months, there's storms and disruption too. So when you're given those moments to really drink things in, that sustains you through the harder times. And it acts as a reservoir of joy that you can tap into even on the darkest day. The fall time is usually the harvest time. So in a few short weeks, we'll be heading into fall here in Canada, and when we start heading into fall, that will be the time for planning, for preparing, for gathering and stocking up on things, and looking to the future and doing what you need to do today to 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 plan for the upcoming months. That will have its moment and that has its season. The wintertime months are often about going to the inner stillness, to let the sort of purity of the snow blanket you and draw you into a deeper aspect of the self, where you can get really, really still and quiet so that you can hear what's happening within the inner world. The stillness within the summertime is witnessing what's happening outside of you and how it interrelates within you. During the winter, you get an opportunity to bring that up again, to look at it and examine it in a deeper way with fewer external distractions. Everything has sort of gone icy, quiet, still. And in that reflection time, you're able to really clear out and cultivate sort of that inner world. In the springtime, we're offered these opportunities to nurture new growth, to plan for the exciting future of the summertime, and to, in some ways, get busy on our dreams and our goals, and to really take action before we even see what is coming, and to just trust that if we take the steps, the fruit will arrive in the summer. And those cycles of nature are happening within their day. It's happening within our week, it's happening within months, and it's happening within the greater cycle of the year. And when we notice what is happening within the land that we're living, even the particular trees and animals that live around you, notice what they're doing and just see, how is that activity mirrored within me? You can do sort of this inner reflection of like, rain is a release. Water is emotion. So and often when there are storms, what we're being asked to do is to get internal and sort of hunker down and be still. Often you feel a little sleepy, you feel a little more restful, you might sometimes feel a little bit more down, but it's an opportunity to allow whatever is there to release and let go. Summertime sunny, shiny skies are often about going out and experiencing the external world and gathering what you need and being active. And and so really, like, thinking about that and really anchoring into that greater flow of light, harmony, and energy that is within the natural world, each moment gives you an opportunity to delve into and use that energy that the earth is really offering you to do your spiritual work. Yeah, I just want to share. I'm just going to look it up so I get the name of it right. But there's a book that has just come out, and I find it just a brilliant, brilliant book. Where's my books? Anyhow, there it is. Yay! I found it. Haha. I just have it on my Kindle. It's called Calling My Spirit Back. It's written by an Indigenous woman from BC here in Canada. Her name is Elaine Alec with a C. And it is, I'm only 8% into it, but it is a really, really beautiful book. I highly recommend that you pick it up. I'll put a link in our description. And it is about, she shares a lot of her story, her personal healing story, and the story of her family, but also some of the understanding and knowing and the stories of the land, and how there's a healing energy within Indigenous peoples, and always has been, and the strength really to overcome and survive the horrors of the residential school system here in Canada, and the strength of her ancestors and her personally to survive, and really her Tema, her grandmother, really sort of shared these stories with her in secret, which was actually illegal. And I just love good trouble and good troublemakers who are who had the courage to defy unjust and inhumane rules, and to keep this culture alive, which was really being methodically stamped out by Canadian government. And but the book is a healing book, and like I said, I haven't read the whole thing. Usually I like to read the entire book before I write a recommendation, but I just have really loved the stories within it, and it's brand new out, so I just wanted to share that. And it's a really remarkable read thus far, so I recommend it to you, and is another really beautiful source for getting an idea of some of the story, particularly if you're in Canada, in Western Canada, to get a few more of the stories of the land, because this, for many of us, this is our adoptive home, and our ancestors settled here one way or another, and so we are nurtured and nourished by this land, and to know some of the historical and stories and energies here is a better way of knowing yourself, and even as a settler, and of knowing how to live in harmony with the earth below our feet, and to really introduce yourself to the land and her peoples, and let that be another source of wisdom in your journey, and a really positive, beautiful, uplifting one as well. So highly recommend that. And there are a bunch of other really beautiful books out there. If you have other books that resonate, that are wonderful, are about Indigenous healing stories about the land, the cycle of seasons, please post them in the comments. I am always looking for books on my reading list. I have more books on my reading list than I know what to do with. But yeah, it's summertime is also a really great time to read in a hammock. So thank you all for being here. Thank you so very much for being on this call today with me. I really do appreciate your time, your compassion, your wisdom, your divine soul and spark of light. And please check out the lunaholistic.com blog for this and other podcasts, as well as other articles that you might find useful. We have lots of information on our resources page of meditations that you can check out, as well as we have courses coming up, and we are open for in-person sessions as well as virtual sessions. So if you are somewhere else other than Calgary, you can still get a distance Reiki session or an intuitive reading or energetic 8 coaching session with us. Or you can also book in person if you happen to be in Calgary. We do have some adaptations, of course, for protecting everybody and keeping everybody safe during COVID-19, but we are very happy to be open in this sort of new, now normal, modified way of keeping everybody safe while still getting that care that is so beautiful with Reiki sessions and all of the wellness sessions that we have to offer at Luna Holistic. So please check that out. It's all resources to support your growth and expansion. And I just want to say thank you very much. You take excellent care of yourself today and every day, because you are a divine spark of light, unique in the world, and we all need you to shine your best light to uplift and illuminate us all. And I want to thank you so much for being here. Take care, be well. We'll see you next time.